huge difference. Maybe. Okay, so anyway, now I remember one time going along with this. There was a student, and if you listen to the way that he spoke, listen to that. Listen to how some people might polish themselves when they talk. Not only how they're articulating things like, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm polishing myself. But also the filter system. And also how wise and how, grounded in the certain way that they can be. And so, it's really a matter of understanding the difference of trying to help and trying to be in service and doing the nice and caring thing. Understand the difference between that. And maybe it could go as far as the extremes of barking up the wrong tree. And what I mean by this is, and I think that, okay, here's the example. I don't remember here's the example. Christopher. I think that his name was Christopher. I can recall, and I'm going to kind of reveal this out to you now that I'm talking about it, because I don't, we all don't mean everything that we say, but I'm going to tell you about this. He was a senior. He was a senior, which is really, really important to remember. And he was taking 2 classes in the fall. One of which was something that I'm taking right now that involves a lot of dedication and commitment and focus on the details and getting everything right. Because those teachers who teach business tech don't always look at the big picture, and I think that that's their challenge, is understanding when you should look at the details enough and then backing it up and saying, okay, this is good. Because most everyone who looks at that and goes through the steps and looks at the instructions will say, yes. Unless, we're talking about superhumans or, mechanical machines. Okay. So I'm not going to reveal what I'm doing, expressing, but anyway. So, he was taking business tech. He was also taking phys ed. That's the pleasant way of saying physical education. I can recall that, I remember that you, a lot of the time, were constantly pushing for him to do PE. But that's not what he felt like he wanted to do and what he needed to do. What he felt that was right for him was most important for him. And this is where the advice section comes in. And I think that it's so important to clear this out at the beginning. Now, I don't even have to say that this is not my concern. Because I'm standing here with this roof above my head that is my roof. It's my roof and also my family's roof. So, I can say this. I've said many, many other things. Maybe, like, I kind of chimed in many, many other things at levels beyond this. So, that's a given. Okay, so, that's the thing is the understanding, and I think that this goes for everyone, the understanding, and I think that this is going to play a huge role in the symbolism that I'm going to get to later, is understanding when to hold on, and when to be loyal, and when to be fixated. But also, this is the lesson of Taurus, letting go. letting go of possessions, possessional things that will include people. With less than Scorpio, but anyway. So in this situation, it is human nature, as when somebody is pushing them to do this over and over again, they are not going to want to do it. They are not going to want to do it. They're going to want to do something else. I find that all the time. That's just how human nature works. That's why, maybe that could be why you find Aquarius, I don't know, and Aries is one of the 2 zodiac signs. I don't know. But that's what I can remember from my experience, is that understanding the limits and boundaries of when people are too old. When should you just let them be and let them be free? They will make the decision if they need or want, a certain teacher to be around. And that, they're, and especially because they're old enough now to make that kind of decision. And I can recall that I was sitting in that room, and I remember there was a sub there, and her name was Mrs. Moore, and she was just sitting down, and she was very, very understanding, and she was saying, yes, she was really, really taking time, and really, really, getting to know his situation and his feelings. And so that's a huge that's a huge step to take, and a huge, really, really powerful lesson. That you live and you learn, and nobody's perfect. Everyone has their faults. I have my faults. I can assure you that all of the expressions have their faults to them. I'm trying to recall something else. The thing that I was trying to recall, I don't remember what it was. I thought that something came up, but then I lost it, like an idea of something to talk about. But so, yeah. And I think that it goes to kind of the extremes of the idea of Big Brother. The idea of Big Brother. That citizens versus the government. Aquarius versus Capricorn. Of people that, decide their destinies and make their own decisions and everything like that. But here, I'm trying to, yeah. Oh, okay. I remembered what I was gonna get at. And also, I think that a huge thing that I also want to bring up is the fact of, I'm sure that you've heard this saying, I'm sure that we've all heard this saying, of don't put your nose in where it doesn't belong. Not that this necessarily ties in here, but it might be something. Because sometimes when we are con, and when I say this, I don't mean parents, I mean just any, authority figure. C-O-N-N, con. What that means, what a con is someone who harps. Helicopters on top of somebody else. On top of somebody else and their lives and their independence, maybe their freedom as well. And I also want to talk about I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about the square in the zodiac between Taurus and Aquarius. And I mean no ill will against any of these signs. But so anyway, astrology doesn't matter. I bring it up because it does have to do, and I find certain things from them. But so, at the time, I didn't know you as well as I do now. And let me tell you, you were very, very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. That you were not, let's say, and this may not matter, but out of the whole catastrophe that I had to deal with last fall, let me tell you, born on, I don't know, the 28th or 29th of October. I don't know. But just you personally, is that, and I don't want to use the word interfering, I just want to use the word not just letting up. Well, when I say not letting up, kind of, again, a slight helicopter energy of my modern world, early modern world history. And this is a huge example. This is a major step. Major step. And I know that I'm kind of breaking things already here, but anyway, I speak from the heart. So, this, that whole deal, which, way, way better than what I had to deal with. Hands down. Nowhere near what I had to deal with. But, kind of, I think that I'm kind of comparing apples to oranges here, so I'm going to stop. This, specifically. And again, the advice section with letting go and letting free. And that is, I could also really, really benefit from this as well, because I like to hold on to things that I feel, in my heart are just kind of issues, and I'm probably doing that right now, but I'm bringing it up because it's really, really important and significant for me to bring up, and we could all benefit from this. And believe me, I could benefit from this, maybe firsthand, I don't know. But it's the importance of once is enough. The importance of once is enough is huge. Understanding when you are really, really caring and being honest, and understanding the difference between that and pestering. And I'm announcing this to everyone. Everyone. Pestering somebody else about something and getting on somebody's back about something. That something, and I have very, very good memory, was, as an example of what I'm talking about, a geography test. Think about that. A geography test. Something silly. Something small. Something, for the most part, in a box of a building as a geography test. I do it and then I forget all about it. It's not, I don't know, a driver's test. It's not a social communication skill. It's not a application. It's not something that is going to be more valuable, that I'm going to be taking with me and remembering throughout my life. And that's just a natural thing. You learn things, you forget things. But it's kind of silly to think about how kind of huge and profound things are. And you have your whole life to go travel and learn all the countries of, one continent. But yeah, there's certain things that can kind of have you questioning the narrative. And this is one of those things. A geography test. And this is one of those things that kind of goes along with. So, he had the class, which was bigger than a test. Interestingly enough, bigger than that. And I had a test. And to this day, I feel guilty. I feel guilty that I was kind of, that I took it personally. And that I didn't really, and I understood, that you, as I know that you meant well and that you, were honest and all of those wonderful things. However, that is where see what I'm doing with my fingers? This represents a line. A line that has to be drawn at a certain time. So, that line indeed. So, and then move on. So that's the advice section. So I took a lot of time on that, and I think I took the most time on that because that's the hugest thing to get out there. I don't want to say things that I feel like I'm wasting my air on saying. But so then I want to get into this. So a huge word to remember is Chuck, which would have to do with the character that you played in This Dead Magic. So then this is Do You Live by Hy-Vee? Like I'm picturing Hy-Vee, and I'm picturing kind of the stalemate of when the sun is in Taurus. And also having to do with the errands. Another word for that is errands. Like, can you get me some Mountain Dew from this Casey's, or you can go get me a couple things from, and then, go around the town and then kind of come back and get out into the town. Huge way that this could happen is because of the job program. The job program especially. Because, that's getting out and that's volunteering to, participate yourself in different jobs. And kind of, try that. Locally in the town, the house with the white picket fence near Hy-Vee. And also dealing with the outside scoop. Another local treat. Local. Keyword local. I want to move over here to the firehouse. Firehouse. Now this is what I see. Now I'm sure that, there's many, I don't know if you've heard of a firehouse chef or someone who cooks for the firehouse. Or it could be any other place of authority mechanics. Or a police office. Officer Hackett, in other words. So a firehouse. With some of the clothes that, you might wear. But so anyway, then the next thing is I want to talk about the face picture. And I'm kind of getting into a couple customaries, and I think that another customary is also journaling at the beginning of class, kind of tying into the teacher in Wonder, who kind of, like the movie Wonder, who started things out, like starting with a quote or something like that. I know. But the face picture. What is a face picture? Well, it is the picture that you see when you look at somebody's face. It can be as random as anything. For example, when I look at my face, I see lights on top of a ceiling. Like when you go to, I don't know, Burlington Coat Factory, that's what I see. Interestingly enough, I see a trash can. Now, what I see when I, look at you is two things. A rolling pin, un matadero. And I also see metal in cafeteria. Now, when I say metal in cafeteria, I'm not talking about a cafe, Cerealine, I'm not talking about that. That is earlier towards season, when, Kathy Stein was here. But so anyway, cafeteria, like metal roofs, like with the kind of food underneath, and then you have kind of a thing that stands up, and then you can set your hands on, and when the cooks put the trays, like the place that they put the trays on, below is the food. So that roof is what the face picture is. Okay? I want to go over the many resemblance groups, so whatever I call them. The first one is Faye, Tina Fey, named. So all of these have a person that they're named off of, an individual. 3 out of the 4 of these are real people. So Faye, Tina Fey, which also, well, she was born, 3 days after you were born. Who was also the person that said that quote there in the Mean Girls, and then she went on with other things. But so anyway, the next one is the Vetter. And I think that there's a couple of things. The spring of 2016, also in the Sonic game, the Sonic Hedgehog kind of thing like that. So yeah. So Alicia Vetter, who happens to be a teacher, well, she's actually in resemblance to Tina Fey, and also my first grade teacher, Mrs. Powers, is in resemblance to Tina Fey. But so, she teaches over at the middle school as a math teacher. From the Spetsy and Poppins custom. There may be something there with, how you kind of articulate a couple of things, but then that will probably tie over to this. It's kind of a, I don't know, a Swift mother or something like that. And then the next one is clutter. I can find many, many people that go with this. Huge one. Carla Baron Reed is that close because she's in resemblance. Even Abby Lee Miller, who played in Dance Moms, is in this group. And also the kind of the humor system. Even the mean, nice, mean, all those things tying into all 3 of these. Positive and negative at the same time. But so, yeah. So, Mrs. Clutter, who you all know, she came here and you worked with her on songs and various things. Pizer. So Pizer is the last name of the person in Just Add Magic who Zach played, portrayed. He was a good guy. He wasn't a bad guy. He was just desperate to get his sister back, Rose, and go into go back into the 1800s and live out the remainder of his life. There's one symbol from that, Just Add Magic. It's huge, 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 huge thing here. Huge kind of tie-in. Now, interestingly enough, it was steamy yesterday, and Gannon and one person living across the street. But it was a little bit, well, it was a little humid. Like Cancer season weather, late June, early July. Cancer season. People kind of grilling and kind of the Father's Day thing come together. And also, so we have that. So I know that you are a member of these two groups, the top and the bottom. And maybe a little, I don't know. But basically, those two groups, to sum it up. So service and contribution to Indianola. Interesting as, it goes on forever now with the routine with the Hy-Vee that I was talking about earlier. And also the fact that you don't mind being inside for a long time. The next one is I like to cook, quote unquote. And then in parentheses so this is my little comment to that. As a recreational dual rec activity. Maybe in a camp. So, and it's just, the combination of very, very various things. And at that time, when I started out, I was eating a lot of wraps for lunch. Which I'll get into all those details. So then I talked about the advice section. I'm going to play for you. Should I? No, I don't. I don't think that one's. Yeah, you know what? A little bit too high on the list for that. But so, in Just Add Magic, all of the characters, most of them, did like a parody of Hamilton, the song Hamilton, My Shot. So then, let me see. Hamilton, Aaron's, and then this is where I want to get to the symbolism. The symbolism for our relationship is a trailer in Just Add Magic. That's where, Chuck was trying to, get a spell where he could get his sister and go back to the 1800s. But this is huge. This is the symbolism. Picture a truck sitting in an abandoned. I actually have a song for this. It's like, and I'm not gonna sing it for you, but picture a trailer, sitting in an abandoned driveway in Indianola. Picture that in August, 2 years ago, you would come to town. And the day after, so right before I would meet you, I can remember coming into the school and then meeting you in 2019 before school started. Right before that happened, the truck started getting filled with leaves and wreaths and weeds as well. Filled in very, very huge amounts in various places. What happened then was that obviously, I think it was like the 4th of October, 2019, there might have been a couple of some of the leaves that might have gone away, and then poof, there were more leaves that just appeared in the truck. And so, as I'm talking about this, think about the symbolism. Think about what I want to say that the trailer already is basically what the classroom, what the relationship, or the place that we're connecting, that's what the trailer represents. It represents a place of calm and kind of casual relaxation that that you're building with, the stability and everything like that. But there's all kinds of leaves in it. There's weeds and reeds that you can't sit in a truck and enjoy, your time when there's all these things growing in it. No. So obviously, you have to take the leaves and weeds out of the truck to be able to sit and enjoy your time. But the catch is it does not, maybe it happens all at once, you don't know. Maybe it'll happen gradually. But when you get to know someone better and get to know and get to see, maybe it's their true colors. In this case, get to see that they're very, very compassionate and they mean no ill will and just how kind they are. And this is so powerful, is getting to kind of connect before you enemize them, before you demonize them. Take a breath and really, really, look into their eyes and connect and really, really, have something so profound as getting to know them and then feeling all those wonderful feelings, for them and with them, particularly as a sun in Taurus. And that's so powerful. And let me tell you, I feel differently, very differently, about you than I felt, which was not, bad. As you know, I didn't feel badly about you. I didn't know you as well. And I took things to heart because I didn't know you as well. And so now those leaves have slowly, gradually, because it takes time to get to know people, have left the truck, and so I'm kind of giving it away. Those leaves represent the obstacles. The leaves and the weeds and the reeds represent the they represent the things taking up space and taking up, not being able, you don't know the person in kind of a foggy vision, like thinking or feeling badly about this person, not knowing them, kind of,